Welcome to episode 4 of Being a Better Human. In this episode, I'll teach you how to not get manipulated by all the dickheads out there. Trying not to get manipulated can be really hard, but we'll break it down into parts, and we're going to start by talking about how you should totally be aware of when people are using charged diction. If they're taking their diction and they're making it super huge and massive and charged and just kind of swinging it around everywhere, you need to be really aware of what they're trying to accomplish. So, as I was riding around, scratching my head thinking, what can I use as a visual metaphor for charged diction? I found these giant bull robots. Wow, pun intended much. Anyway, let me start a conversation with this guy. Oh, would you look at that? He took exception to something I said. He looks really mad. He's been saying a lot of really big things about how 9/11 was an inside job and I should be looking out for my own safety. So did you guys ever see that episode of Family Guy where Lois runs for office and she gets up on the debate stand and all she says is 9/11 and the crowd just eats it up? She's like, 9? And the crowd's like, and then she's like, 11. And everybody just goes nuts. That is one of my all-time favorite examples of charged diction because it boils down the whole thing into a really simple concept of, I'm going to say stuff that gets you to think about other stuff, and that's going to, make you not think about how sucky I am or how I'm trying to manipulate you. That was an example of buzzword charged diction. It's a big thing in the political sphere. I don't spend a lot of time in this political sphere, so I want to talk a little bit more about belief words, because those show up in every sphere. Always, always, always be incredibly wary of someone asserting what you should believe. That's like one of the most blatant and crappy manipulation tactics there is, so just don't fall for someone asserting that you can trust them. At this point, you may be thinking back way to the first episode when I said you could trust me because another guy that does really important work for the government says I'm right. Pretty good example of charged diction on both sides. I use buzzwords like defending your rights and Navy and military and stuff like that. And I also say that, you can believe what I say because he believes what I say. Think about it. I mean, it happens a lot. It's like, this athlete's awesome at being an athlete. Buy his shaving cream. Shit like that. Not always that obvious either. Another thing that makes charged diction really hard to spot is when you're kind of getting ganged up on by a lot of people. When everybody's using the same terminology, it's a lot harder to spot that it's weird. This is a really good visual example you have before us. I was getting gangbanged by 4 giant robots, all of them thinking they're in the right. Sometimes when you're the one guy who knows that logic is on their side, you just kind of have to post up, get ready for a hard, gritty fight, tie the assholes down with logic, and then blow them up with righteous factoids.
Just go about your business.
And Aloy's right. Most people are just going to go about their business. They're going to see that nasty argument. They're not going to want to get involved even if you're getting totally gangbanged and you need help. And they're going to leave you to drown. But that doesn't mean you can't find your friends and ask them to back you up. I had a guy in Reddit the other day say, hey, your post about Overwatch is very much like my post about Overwatch. And I like what you're saying. So I went, I checked out his post. I noticed that most of the people in there that have commented had completely misunderstood his post and were just flaming him. So championed logic because, I have faith that he'll do that for me or someone else in the future.